creepy android man, Mark Zuckerberg, has just announced that his company, Facebook, is going to be renamed Meta.
Starting today, our company is now Meta. It's still about bringing people together.
And today, I want to talk about some of this. You know, I've been going on and on about how they're going to try to suck us into this digital world. And the digital world is actually kind of like the Matrix. It is an overlay on top of reality. And this goes right in with the Fourth Industrial Revolution / the Great Reset, where everything they can possibly do online or in this virtual reality world is going to be done inside the virtual reality world. Meta. Let me show you a video from Mark Zuckerberg to give you an idea of what this is.
An experience of all, connecting with people. Imagine you put on your glasses or headset and you're instantly in your home space. It has parts of your physical home recreated virtually. It has things that are only possible virtually. And it has an incredibly inspiring view of whatever you find most beautiful.
Hey, are you coming?
Yeah, just gotta find something to wear. All right, perfect.
Boy.
Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
Mark. What's up, Mark?
Whoa, we're floating in space?
Uh-huh.
Who made this place? It's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want to be a perpetual child in a cartoon world with going to meetings with bubbly dinosaurs and people who are flying around the room. I just don't. The metaverse is not yet a reality, but it could be the next evolution of the internet. The idea is that extended reality, the combination of augmented, virtual, and mixed reality, will become a key medium for social and business engagement. They say the metaverse doesn't exist, at least not yet. As of today, there isn't anything that could be legitimately identified as a metaverse. Just as you can't invest in the internet, so too can you not identify the metaverse as a unique product, technology, or service. A better question might be, what could become the metaverse? And I've made a note here. I guess it's a place with bad grammar. That's a terrible sentence. What could become the metaverse? Well, you see, we're all going to have to get used to hacked up language because in the far-off dreams of the architects of the metaverse and virtual reality, the Matrix world, we will all be able to communicate with each other, in fact, non-verbally is what they say, almost a telepathy, and there will be just one language.
Intelligence that is not human is increasing, and eventually we will represent a very small percentage of intelligence. I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years.
It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows. And the rate of improvement is exponential. And it scares the hell out of me. The biggest issue I see with so-called AI experts is that they think they know more than they do. And they think they're smarter than they actually are.
I mean, the deep mind system can win at any game.
And we're all feeding this network without questions and answers. We're all collectively programming the AI, and and Google plus all the humans that connect to it are one giant cybernetic collective. This is also true of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these social networks. They're giant cybernetic collectives.
AI has administrator-level access to Google's servers to optimize energy usage at the data centers. However, this could be an unintentional Trojan horse. DeepMind has to have complete control of the data centers, so with a little software update, that AI could take complete control of the whole Google system, which means they can do anything. They can look at all your data, they can do anything.
It's definitely going to be outside of human control. The thing that's going to be tricky here is that it's going to be very tempting to use AI as a weapon. It's going to be very tempting. In fact, it will be used as a weapon.
In general, we are all much smarter than we think we are, but much less smart, dumber than we think we are, by a lot. So
the on-ramp to serious AI, the danger is going to be more humans using it against each other, I think, most likely. That'll be the danger. Yeah. Usually it'll be some new technology that will cause damage or death. There will be an outcry.
This tends to plague smart people. They just can't. They define themselves by their intelligence, and they don't like the idea that a machine could be way smarter than them. So they discount the idea, which is fundamentally flawed. That's the wishful thinking situation. I'm really quite close to, I'm very close to the cutting edge in AI.
Well, I think the first bit of advice would be to really pay close attention to the development of artificial intelligence. I think we need to just be very careful in how we adopt artificial intelligence and to make sure that researchers don't get carried away. Because sometimes what happens is a scientist can get so engrossed in their work, they don't necessarily realize the ramifications of what they're doing.
What does this remind you of? Anybody? Any Bible scholars out there? Any Christians out there? Anybody who just basically knows the stories of the Bible? Does this not remind you of the Tower of Babel, man trying to become as gods, everybody speaking with one language, and God came along and he punished us by making us all speak different languages so we couldn't get along, so we couldn't centralize. Aren't these maniacs always talking about decentralization? Well, let me tell you, the metaverse is massive, massive centralization. And of course, the ingredients of this include the ability to buy and sell and conduct business in the virtual reality space. Why do you think they stopped innovating in the real world with 3D things? Why do you think everything's going to junk furniture and crappy products? It's because soon we won't need real products very much at all anymore. We're going to buy and sell and do all our business in this virtual reality world. In case you think this isn't bad enough already, look at the next iteration. The future of church. Christians will no longer need to long for divine encounters. Saintly holograms and smart robots can appear in Christian gatherings anywhere, anytime. Look at this creepy stuff. If you can't tell already, this is demonic. We are in a battle of good versus evil. And what has Satan always wanted? He has wanted to usurp the world. He has wanted to be God. Well, I mean, I don't know a better explanation for what is happening than this is the final countdown to when Satan rules the globe. You could live forever in virtual reality world, because another thing they're working on, of course, is uploading your whole mind and all of your experiences and memories and personality into the cloud so that you can live forever as an avatar. So what does that do to your soul, I wonder? I really believe this is a soul trap. An interesting point about Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's new company Meta, where he's building the metaverse, is that apparently in Hebrew, meta means dead. Someone pointed this out to me, and apparently it's true. Hebrew users of Twitter were saying that dead is pronounced meta in Hebrew. And I also want to show you the word for meta in Hebrew. It's this. It looks a lot like the symbol for meta to me. Does it to you? This user posted something on 4chan talking about how they're creating a second layer of reality and shunting as many souls as possible into it. Right now, it's just a shitty VR chat clone, but the end goal is beyond what most people can imagine.
Now the output of goods and services will be extremely high. So with automation, there will come abundance. There will be almost everything will get very cheap. I think the biggest. I think we'll just end up doing a universal basic income. It's going to be necessary. The harder challenge, much harder challenge, is how do people then have meaning? Like a lot of people, they derive their meaning from their employment. So if you don't have, if you're not needed, if there's not a need for your labor, how do you? What's the meaning? Do you have meaning? Do you feel useless? That's a much harder problem to deal with. And then how do we ensure that the future is going to be the future that we want, that we still like? No, I mean, I do think that there's a potential path here which is, and we're really getting into science fiction, or biological intelligence and machine intelligence. To some degree, we are already a cyborg. You think of like the digital tools that you have, your phone, your computer, the applications that you have, like the fact that, as I was mentioning earlier, you can ask a question and instantly get an answer from Google or from other things. And so you already have a digital tertiary layer. I say tertiary because you can think of the limbic system, kind of the animal brain or the primal brain, and then the cortex, kind of the thinking, planning part of the brain, and then your digital self as a third layer. So you already have that, and it's like if somebody dies, their digital ghost is still around. All of their emails and the pictures that they posted and their social media, that still lives, even if if they died. So over time, I think we will probably see a closer merger of biological intelligence and digital intelligence. And it's mostly about the bandwidth, the speed of the connection between your brain and your the digital extension of yourself. Particularly output. And output, if anything, is getting worse. We used to have like keyboards that we'd use a lot. Now we do most of our input through our thumbs on a phone. And that's just very slow. A computer can communicate at 1 trillion bits per second, but your thumb can maybe do, 10 bits per second or 100 if you're being generous. So some high bandwidth interface to the brain, I think, will be something that helps achieve a symbiosis between human and machine intelligence, and maybe solves the control problem and the usefulness problem.
I'm not really all that worried about the short-term stuff. Things that are, like narrow AI is not a species-level risk. It will result in dislocation, in lost jobs, and sort of better weaponry and that kind of thing. But it is not a fundamental species-level risk, whereas digital superintelligence is. So it's really all about laying the groundwork to make sure that if humanity collectively decides that creating digital superintelligence is the right move, then we should do so very, very carefully. Important thing that we could possibly do. And that AI risk is that I guess there's sort of a benign AI, and that we're able to achieve a symbiosis with that AI. Ideally, the AI. There's somebody who I can't remember his name, but had a good suggestion for what the optimization of the AI should be.
We could change the world in a single day. It's really that simple. All you have to do is remember who and what you are. Remember that you have value. Remember you're having this emotional conversation with reality all the time. There's this energetic exchange going on all the time. Put yourself in the correct energetic state. No stake in the outcome. You're only here for a breath. You're only here for a temporary experience. What do you care if the world destroys itself? I mean, really, it's here for you to come and grow your soul. What happens to it after you leave is not your concern, and what happens to other people is not your concern, until their actions start affecting your soul choices. And this is what this is. This is a soul choice. But you've got to remember that if you're an awake human being and you're awake to what's going on here and you're aware of what's going on here, well, you came here for this test. You made the decision before you came to come here to go through this test and to go through this exam because you know that you are capable of passing this test. And if you weren't capable of passing it, you wouldn't be here. So yeah, it's a great thing to know. It's a great thing to think about. The fact that you made the choice to come here to do this. And if enough of us get together and get our focus pure, stop hacking each other down. You know, all these different truthers out there hacking each other down, trying to be top of the pile, push their belief system on everybody else, whatever. You know, get over yourself. This is about a soul test. This is about a soul choice. And the best thing we can do now is become, one in spirit.